So 2002, 2004, you're spending all this time with De Palma. Are you driving him around? Is he the one that you're driving around?
Yes. How it worked is his son, who tried to commit suicide at the prison, this because he too was arrested in the Scores case. Okay. And also the one down in Atlanta, Georgia. I think it was called Solid Gold, some big strip club down there where all the celebrity stars and athletes would go. He got arrested with Greg. There was rumors that Craig was cooperating, and Greg arranged it that he would meet with his son, Craig, and pretty much challenged him and said, you're a disgrace not only to the family name, you're a disgrace to Cosa Nostra. So what happened was they found him in his cell hung. So Greg De Palma, when he came out of prison, he requested one of those compassionate release. And Craig De Palma was released and put in a nursing home in Westchester. Now, the irony of that is Craig De Palma went to all these nursing homes and found one, and he specifically told the director of the nursing home that there was not going to be any mob stuff. And the reason why, everybody knew Greg De Palma was a gangster because of his Westchester Premier Theater days. So what happens within a week? We had all our meetings at the nursing home. All the wise guys would come in there. And my heart ached when you see the family members looking at their elderly family members and surrounded by all these gangsters who were either taking action or paying tribute payment to the mob. So Greg De Palma wound up running his whole operation. He was what I thought a good father, or was he a good gangster? Because he was loving his son and taking care of him. But, you know, it was a little weird because it was also kind of selfish on Greg, because it was known out there that Greg's son cooperated, and that was a reflection on him. So, but of course, Greg De Palma's story was not that he was cooperating, but instead it was the marshals who killed him. I mean, as outrageous as that was, that's what he was putting out there in order to cover himself in the Gambino crime family.
Was he a real mafioso, where his loyalty was to La Cosa Nostra over family, where he followed the code to the T? Was he known as somebody like that?
Greg De Palma was brilliant in this regard. Yes, he had a big mouth. But again, like I said earlier, that was great for the FBI. He loved to talk. We loved to listen. But the interesting thing about Greg, and he told me this in confidence, when you make money in the mob, you have to kick up. You kick up to your soldier. If you're reporting to a soldier, you kick up to your skipper, and then the skipper kicks up to the administration. Okay, what Greg De Palma told me is he gave more than the normal amount, because he always felt that the more you give will keep him in social graces with the administration in case he screwed up. And Greg De Palma was known for that. So he did play the Cosa Nostra rules, where he gave money to his bosses in excess, just in case he messed up, they were going to leave him alone out of it, or maybe just, let him walk.
Interesting. So he had the wisdom there to know that, let me make sure the people above me are happy. So one, they're not paranoid. And two, I keep getting the favors and the benefit. Was he a decent earner himself, or was he more of an enforcer?
No, he was a very good earner. He had a lot of construction companies up in Westchester that were on record with him. He had control of a lot of union. Greg De Palma was, like I said, he was a celebrity. And it was kind of weird too, Patrick, because when we would go out to dinner and we would go to these fancy restaurants in Westchester, honest people, you could tell they were successful businessmen, older, would come to our table just to shake hands with Greg De Palma and reminisce about the great times that they had at Westchester Premier Theater. And Greg De Palma would take their calling card, their business card, and you could see him looking at that and saying, how do I get in this guy's pocket? What can I get out of this guy in the future? By the end of the day, sometimes you have 20 business cards, and he was always thinking. He was a true Cosa Nostra of always thinking of where to make money, how to rob money in every regard.
Is that Is that his DNA, or is that the DNA of the La Cosa Nostra, where they're always looking at how can I get more money of this guy in front of me?
Yes, absolutely. That is the DNA with that. It's all about making money, and it's kind of funny when you hear them and you see them constantly. It's always looking for angles. It's always looking of how do I get over in this? How do I put and the way they work is quite genius. Is they put you on record. They think that you or your business establishment is going to be benefit from it and that no one will mess with it. Well, along with that comes you got to pay. And along with that comes that now you own a restaurant. Okay, so where are you getting your produce? Where are you getting your wines? Where are you getting your linen? Who's doing your garbage? They got the guys, so they'll put these people in place. And every place that they put in, people they put in, of course, they're kicking back to the mob. So it's just the way they work. It's a constant money-making organization of every way that they can, because that's what it's all about with them. It's all about the greed. And that's all I think I was able to get into them because of the greed. Is you wave a little money, you make yourself to be the goose that laid the golden egg, and there you go. You have it.
Now, a question for you about that. When you're talking about, hey, you give me some money, I'm going to protect you. The mob of the 80s is very different than the mob of the 2000s, because Pistone came and cleaned house himself from 76 to 81. I believe he was there for like 5 years and 10 months, whatever Pistone's timeline was as an undercover agent. So the days of if somebody messes with you, we're going to take them out. You can't necessarily do that in the 2000s, 2002. So what is the business model if no one fears you? What do people fear that you're going to do to them if you're not going to take their lives?
Well, the mob has definitely morphed itself from way back in the old days. They come to realize that leaving bodies on the street is bad for business. Okay, so they know that. So they are careful. They like to operate more in the gray area, like strip clubs or those corrupt union officials that they go in. They're not as open shotgun plan like they were in the old days to try to shake down everybody and everything, because they know that people are wise to them. So it's kind of a catch-22 for them. They know that the mob runs on fear, but if they can't beat you up and they can't kill you, how is that fear going to be generated?
Exactly.
So it does revert to sometimes to old-fashioned beatings, where they just come, they'll beat you up, tune you up, and tell you they're coming back. But then they're also very careful that you're going to call the cops and put them in jail. So it's a delicate dance that the mob does now, and takes that extra precaution of really doing background on an individual company or person to see if they're the kind of people that you could approach. Because one false move lands you in jail for extortion.